What's up, guys? I'm back. That was a long little break. I have two guests today. I wanted to kill two birds with one stone. I'm not going to call Josh Adam Myers or Jimmy Shubert a bird. They're more like a hawk. I'll grab you. Anyways, Jimmy Shubert's a great guy. I had him on the show, and I fucked up. So it sounded like shit, but we're going to do it right now. I'm going to bring Jimmy Shubert in here. Jimmy Shubert, everybody.
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
Nothing much. How's it going?
Fucking same shit.
Nice.
Well, same new normal shit. Did my first set in a year.
Yep. Everybody's trying to figure it out.
It does. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Hanging in there. Just working, trying to keep busy, trying to make a living in the fucking pandemic like everybody else.
Yep. I see your Philadelphia Eagles hat. Are you upset that your quarterback went to my team?
No, I'm really got to tell you, man, I'm just kind of like so over. And I mean, if anything, the pandemic, I could just literally give a shit about sports. It's it's like ridiculous. You get paid millions of dollars and you're a little fucking whiny cry baby. I hate these fucking guys. The last thing I'm going to do is spend any time watching you play and chase a fucking ball. I got bigger fish to fry. At one time I was a big sports guy. Not anymore. I could give a shit.
Yeah, it gets a little much, and especially now with social media and all these people having a platform to think who the fuck they are.
Hey, if I want the opinion of somebody who chases a ball, I'll go ask my fucking dog. All right, I don't give a fuck what any of you fucks think. I tune in to watch sports to get away from all that shit, and apparently they fucking feel that I'm just go fucking play the sport.
Yeah. So you've been busy, man. You've been working this whole time. You moved down to Florida. We briefly touched on that the last time we talked.
Well, I'm trying to, just trying to keep working. I can't, I couldn't do it. I mean, I was spent a year in fucking Los Angeles, fucking just sitting there on my fucking thumbs. I couldn't do it. It was really rough on me, mentally. I wanted to get out and you couldn't do that. You couldn't go out to eat. Couldn't do anything. So I pulled the trigger. I like a lot of people, Tony Hinchcliffe and those guys and Rogan and a lot of those guys moved to Austin. Brian Holtzman, Jason Rouse, a lot of the guys at the store moved to Austin. Some people moved down here to Florida as well because they're basically the two states they're kind of open and trying to function under some kind of normalcy. So yeah.
Yeah, I know Uncle Joey Diaz moved back to Jersey.
Yep.
Yeah, the landscape is a little different.
Well, I don't blame anybody for anything. Everybody's just trying to make a living. People are trying to work. People are trying to do what it is they love to do. And, you make that impossible for people. I mean, I don't know what the end game here is, but this is just absolutely fucking. You've destroyed people's businesses. You've destroyed people's lives. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. It's just. I'm in shock. I'm glad I got the fuck out of there. I'm just, it's like people are fucking stupid.
Sure.
You believe this shit. I mean, I'm not saying the virus isn't real, but it's got a 99.6% chance of survival rate. I know people have had it. They said, they have had no symptoms at all. Some people have struggled with it, and some people have, passed away from it because they have pre-existing conditions. But Jesus, I mean, you just deemed the whole group of society non-essential. And, musicians and, magicians and comedians and fucking ventriloquists and people who make their living dancing and anybody that's in the arts.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, it's definitely a weird thing. The landscape has definitely changed and, it'll come back, comedy was saved last night because I was back on stage.
Nice. Good for you.
So that's always a good thing. I'm being sarcastic, man. We talked about this. I only have 3 years in the game.
I know, man. I knew you were being sarcastic.
How dare you? So talk me through it, man. When did you start? When did you start doing comedy?
Oh man, when I was a kid, I started like I was a kid magician. I started doing magic when I was in the, like the I was kind of an accomplished professional magician by the time I was 15. I had doves and levitations, and I was working and doing shows probably. And then when I hit 18, I just kind of like I started dabbling when I was like 17, right before, and then at 18, I kind of went full time and started doing stand up.
Now, was it stand up mixed with magic?
No,
Did you
no,
just
no, straight stand up because I don't cross the streams. Either we're doing magic or we're doing stand up comedy, and so I both think both art forms are equally as impressive and deserve their own space. There's some guys that do comedy magic great, the Amazing Jonathan and Matt King, and some guys do it really well. I just didn't want to go that route. I wanted to be a straight stand up.
and my God, I mean, you're definitely in my top 10. I mean, who the fuck am I? But I'm telling you, I mean, you're
well, well, you're somebody who fucking matters. I'm glad I'm in your top 10. I appreciate it. Thank you.
well, there you go. I mean, your last special was just insane. Zero tolerance.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm real proud of it. Some real great writing in that, and we produced it ourselves, and we did it for what we did it for, and it's available on my website at jimmyshubert.com. You can go and get the special. You can rent it or you can buy it on the Vimeo platform. So if people want to go check it out, they can go do that. But I'm real proud of it. It's a good piece of work.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm telling you, it's impressive, man. Anybody that can do an hour like that, I can't imagine what that's like. That's your website right down there on the bottom, everybody. You guys need
Yeah.
to check it out because Jimmy's that guy. But so you were, I mean, you've been around on the scene for a minute.
Yeah.
Involved with the Comedy Store. You didn't come out here though first. You were doing this in East Coast.
Yeah, I was doing it in Philly. I did it in Philly for a couple of years, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to go out to Los Angeles. I got a job. I literally drove out 2 weeks later. I kind of started my job, moved into my apartment, and started Showcase for Mitzi. I didn't get passed the first time through, but I did get a job as a doorman, and that was as good for me because working the door was a great way to really kind of watch great comedians and see what was going on and learn the craft. It was like people say it was like a college. For me, it was. I mean that's where kind of like it's kind of been my home club. That's like where I started. That's my home club, and yeah, and had some amazing times out there. I got to tour and open for the late Sam Kinison. I was friends with Dice back in the beginning. Still am. I see him once in a while. I mean, I love Andrew. I love, these are the guys I grew up watching. So they've influenced me. I mean, Carlin and Pryor and would come in there and Rodney and then just, you got to watch guys like Jim Carrey and just these exceptional, amazing comedians. And, and I was studying the shit, like a science and it really helped me. I mean, I applied all that to my art and as I learned it, and then just by sheer attrition, just doing a lot of shows and having a passion for making people laugh, and yeah, so very fortunate.
Yeah, I want to talk about how when you auditioned for Mitzi. So you obviously had something there that she saw because she made you a doorman.
Well, yeah, but she passed me. She passed me like about 6 months later. I got passed as a regular and was working there and stuff. So yeah, Mitzi did see something in me. It just wasn't ready, and she was right. I wasn't ready. I was doing like and chances are you got to do like you got to do 1,500 things wrong before you find the right thing. I mean, stand up comedy is very much like that. Yeah, everybody's trying to find their voice and trying to get comfortable enough on stage and trying to be who you authentically are as an artist and as a performer. And so yeah, unfortunately, there's no shortcuts. It takes time. And, and today we live in a world where people put this social media cart before the horse. They think, that I think it should be the opposite. I think you should develop the act and write the act first, and then you should blast it out on social media. But you should have fucking tons of material though too. I mean, people like most people can't do like 10, 15 fucking minutes. You got to be able to do a fucking straight hour, and I say that because even if you're featuring. Anything could go wrong. You're going to need 45 minutes to feature. It'd be a great feature so you can jump around, skip around, and do a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's just you got to figure out. I always say this to comedians starting out. I go, what type of information do you want to present to an audience, and how do you want to present it? I mean, a lot of people talk about like shit. I go, this is you can go up on stage and say anything you want, and this is what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you think these people in the audience give a fuck about your fucking Tinder life or your Tinder dates or your fucking who? I mean, it's like I try to walk to a little broader of an audience because I tour the United States. I've been all over the world. I've been to China and Hong Kong and Singapore and Macau. I've also been to Israel and all through Germany and Kosovo and South America and North America and everywhere. And I work to a little bit of a broader audience.
Yeah, but you're one of those guys who can. It's testament to you being a great comic. You can be in a room like you can put a whole room of YouTubers in a room as your audience. 18 to 25, 30-year-olds, and you can crush and you can make them laugh. You're not over here doing jokes about the Reagan administration. You're very topical. You can do that, and it's amazing because some of these guys, they get to a certain thing. You say, oh, they were an amazing stand-up. And then, some of these guys, they're doing the same jokes that you've seen 20 years ago. And it's not a joke like that, that a comic had that people are like, come on, do the joke, do that bit, and then you kind of whip it out just to, give the audience what they want. But you're very relatable.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, stand-up comedy is really kind of an every man's art form. You have to be relatable in order to fucking impact a fucking audience. I mean, it's yeah, I like writing material. I mean, I got 5 albums. I like creating and working on theming my show and coming up with ideas that go along with the theme. I like, I'm kind of an iconoclast. I like to go after pop culture and I like to go after the things that, like how ridiculous we are as a species. I mean, things that everybody could fucking relate to, a trip to the fucking supermarket, the dairy aisle, just like shit you see, things people do every fucking day and just take it and just kind of blow it out of proportion, over exaggerate. And it's been like a great comedy formula for me, but I'm sure, a lot of people, it's a great formula for me I'm a ranter and a raver, and I usually use over exaggeration.
Yeah. I mean, you also seem like a guy that can write on stage really well.
Yeah, well, only because I know who I am. That's taken just by sheer rate of attrition. Is just, I've done this enough that like I could take a subject and really kind of riff on it because I know where, I just know who I am as an artist, where I'm going. So yeah, but that takes a while for anybody to develop. Not just just takes a while for people to develop.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm sort of finding my voice. But it's just a matter. You got to keep doing it.
Yeah, and it takes about 7 years too. It takes about 7 years to kind of, it takes you 4 years just to get comfortable enough on stage so you can be who you authentically are. It takes you another 3 years to kind of write material for that guy, and that's doing it every fucking night. I mean, this is like when I started out, it's all I gave a shit about was stand-up comedy. I mean, I would go out every night. I didn't give a fuck about anything else. I just cared about stand-up comedy. I cared about, I'd go from the LA Cabaret to the Laugh Factory to the Comedy Store, LA Cabaret to the Laugh Factory to the Comedy Store, 3 sets a night, just working and working and working and working. And, just, so yeah, it's interesting. It's just I think that we live in such a fucking strange world now. We live in the fucking upside down.
Yeah.
Like Stranger Things. It's just weird. It's so bizarre to me. But obviously, it's great for fucking stand up comedy if you go after that shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's it gave me so much material. fresh out the gate, you know what I mean? And I went up last night and I felt great. Like it was a feeling when I was driving over there, you know, I got the fucking butterflies and all that stuff. And I was like, don't be a pussy. You've been up there before. You know, you need to be yourself. Come out, talk about what you were doing this past year. And I did that. And it was relatable. And people, bought into it. So for
good,
8 minutes, I did well. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I feel bad for people that were, just hitting their stride, and then the fucking pandemic hits, and so it's kind of like fucking giving everybody like a year off, like
yeah,
you just not to be able to work on your craft, and so and so a lot of people got knocked down a few pegs and got to start back again at ground zero and kind of rebuild it and re-get momentum. There was a lot of people that had a lot of shit going on,
yeah,
so that everything came to an abrupt halt.
yeah. But I put my faith in myself, and I'll get there, and we'll it'll be what it is. But back to you. Never mind me. Gives a shit. There's a lot to talk to you about. Can we talk about the Outlaws? Can we talk about that?
Sam Kinison, the Outlaws of Comedy, yeah.
So it was you,
Carl Labove,
right? Great.
Alan Stevens, Mitchell Walters. At one point, Lenny Clark was in the mix. Richard Belzer was doing some of the shows.
Really?
And myself as well. And we did like 70 city tours and 30 city tours in Vegas and New Year's Eve at Madison Square Garden and a bunch of different stuff. And so yeah, it's
can you tell me a Wild Sam story?
it's kind of well documented. I mean, shit, the guy was, he's been dead 30 fucking years. People want to rehash this shit. I go read the fucking book, Brother Sam, or go watch a fucking video. Yeah, it was fucking crazy, and it was as crazy as you think it would be. But, thank God there was no social media around then, I'll tell you that. Jesus. But, it was wild. He was one of the most controversial comedians in America at the time. You're on a fucking tour bus. You're doing a 70 city fucking tour. It was like fucking sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was like, it was like a one of a kind thing. Look, I'm glad I did it, but I haven't gone through it. I don't think I don't think I would go through it again. I think, it was a little bit of time wasted. Sam would say, I'm going to save you 5 years, kid. Wound up costing me 5 years, because all that stuff that attached to Sam attached to everybody else, and not all of it was true. And you just had to go out and, find your way and work on your thing. Don't get me wrong. I loved fucking Sam as a great comedian. You look at what he's done and his body of work and stuff. He probably would have done so much more if he wasn't such a drug addict. But got drug addicts and alcoholics are selfish fucking people, and the things he could have done had he continued to live. He died when he was 38.
Yeah.
So
it's fucked up.
In a head-on collision, and he was my friend as well as a mentor. And so, I lost my buddy that day, but also, not to, take anything away from Sam, but a guy like Carl Labove, who most people know who the fuck he is if you're in comedy. He's a brilliant comedian, and one of the most physical comedians I know. He probably taught me more about doing stand-up comedy than Sam did, And then there was Mitchell Walters, who recently passed away. He was one of the guys.
Mitch Walters passed away?
Yeah, he passed away recently.
My God.
And Mitchell was a great joke writer. Joke, just a great joke writer. A complete degenerate, like, gambling wise, and he was a little bit of a drug addict as well. But he's funny. The guy was like really funny, and he was another guy that took me under the wing and kind of taught me how to write joke. He was just I was very lucky that I got under the wing of some of these, like, really great, funny, tortured, gifted artists who were willing to share, the stuff they knew.
Yeah, and it's really cool that back then it seemed like a lot of people would take you kind of under your wing. You know what I mean? Like now, you got a lot of people who are very selfish with social media, and they kind of just do their own thing. And I get it. It's the whole thing, apply your mask first, before helping anybody. But I feel like you guys had more of a camaraderie back then. I don't know.
Yeah, there definitely was. It seems like it anyway. I mean, there's a camaraderie now, but it just depends what clique you're in.
Yeah,
It depends what clique you're in, and they just help the people in the clique. It's fine. It is what it is. I mean, look at the end of the day, all that matters is what you're doing on fucking stage. You're killing on stage, you're crushing on stage. I mean, a podcast isn't fucking stand up, although a lot of stand ups do it. I mean, it
right.
doesn't make you a better stand up if you're doing a podcast, but a podcast has generated a lot of income for a lot of people, and that's kind of where everybody's energy and attention goes. It turns out that comedians have kind of pioneered it. Maron and Joe
Sure.
Rogan and Bill Burr were doing that a long time ago before anybody else was, and
Yeah.
and now these guys they make as much probably doing their podcast as they do doing stand up.
Well, I mean, Joe Rogan has now become, like a Howard Stern. I mean, because
I call him the Oprah. He's like the Oprah Winfrey for dudes. He's like the Oprah Winfrey for guys. He's on that level. And not only does he do the UFC is fucking what he does. The UFC is amazing. I mean, it's great. And also he's a great stand-up and he's a great podcaster. I mean, Joe is he's a fucking monster. He's like completely surpassed stand-up comedy as well. But it's he was doing that long before anybody else too. Like he was like a kind of pioneer of it.
Yeah, and he's a very nice guy, and from what I've heard from people, super generous. I've met him and had a few conversations with him at the store and stuff, and he's always given me his ear. And so nice guy. But I mean, Oprah Winfrey for dudes. I like that. That's pretty good. So what so are you you also act? I mean, you were in a movie actually with a friend of mine called Go.
Which friend?
Tony Detman.
Oh yeah.
He was he was the goofy kid in the van.
Yeah, Go, Coyote Ugly, 1 hour photo. I've done a bunch of films. I just did one, Puppy Love, with Hopper Jack Penn, who's Sean Penn's son, and Robin Wright Penn's son. Does a killer job in a movie called Puppy Love with Michael Madsen, Roseanne Arquette, Cowboy Cerrone from the UFC's, and he does a hell of a job. And Paz de la Huerta is in it as well. She's terrific. It's making its round on the festival circuit. It'll probably get a theater release later on this year called Puppy Love. It's like really, real kind of cool little indie film.
Well, that's cool. Where'd you guys shoot that?
Believe it or not, the stuff I shot was in Moon Rock, I think Black Rock, Idaho, I think.
Oh shit, that's cool. Had you been there before?
No. I mean, I got the gig on Saturday. I had to fly out on Sunday. We filmed all day, Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday I flew into Philly and did a couple shows down there. So yeah, it's all it's just I've established enough. Like I'm kind of established enough that I get offers and stuff to be part of some of these really cool projects, and this was definitely one of them. So.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. I make my living doing acting. I act. I do stand up, and I do magic. The summer of 2017, I auditioned and passed at the Magic Castle and became a magician member, so I could work there anytime I wanted. I could work at the Comedy Store and the Improv, which I've done for many years, and also acting. But all that shit's been canceled because of COVID. So.
Do you practice magic, like sleight of hand? Do you still kind of?
Yep, I love it.
Man,
it keeps me sane on the road. As a traveling professional comedian, you spend a lot of time by yourself, in hotel rooms, and geez, you're gonna watch so much TV. So I always travel with like a close-up mat and a deck of cards, and I'm always working on something. It keeps me fucking sane,
Yeah.
And sometimes in those small moments where I find my mind drifting, I'm usually thinking about how to do a trick better or something, or I'm working on a bit. That's how I know I'm kind of doing the right things, because my mind always goes to those places, or how to figure out how to do a bit better, or to come up with a better reference. Always when I daydream, that's the shit I think about.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, my dad had a deck of cards. He was like playing solitaire or something. And he's like, "Want to see something cool? Stand over there and hold up this newspaper." And of course, he threw the card.
Yeah.
you know, and it cut the newspaper.
Yeah, it goes through
So
the
cool.
newspaper.
Thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
Now, you know, maybe I'll show my kids. Actually, I'm going to show my kids that when I get home.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Where are you now?
I'm in LA. Oh, right here. I'm in Burbank, right across from Porto's at Kappa
Nice.
Studio.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
got a lot of work stuff behind me. See, editing, computers, all sorts of
Nice.
shit. But yeah, man. I mean, you know, I'm good. I'm just trying to, you know, put things into perspective, man. You know, I can't have that hustle that everybody has because, you know, as far as stand up, getting out, doing like 5 shows a week, I want to, but 7 and 5-year-old, 2 boys, a wife, you know, got a lot of excuses. Legit.
Yeah, well, you know, that's. You know,
but
that's
I get
what it
out
is.
twice a week. I'm going to start getting out twice a week and doing it. You know, I mean,
Yeah, that's all.
You know, if I can be a decent comic when I'm 60, retire up in Montana and do something at the local places and make $50 a night, I'm good.
There you go.
You know, we all have a dream, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's right, man. Hey, listen, as long as it makes sense to you, that's all that fucking counts. Doesn't have to make sense to anybody else.
Well,
you know, as long as it feeds your soul, as long as it brings you to your fucking happy place, that's all that fucking counts. There's a lot of people that do it at many different levels. There's people who do it as a hobby. There's people who do it professionally. There's people who do it just to fucking try out new jokes because they're writers. There's people who do it at all different fucking levels of this. You know, a lot of people, like, you know, you know, but you know, as long as you're, you know, you're kind of like, I'm like a purist. I like people that are doing for, you know, the reason, like, you know, because you like to make people laugh. I mean, if you're doing it because you think you're going to get acting jobs, so I'm an actress and I wanted to see if I can get some acting jobs, so I want to do some stand up, like that. You know, it's fucking insulting. It takes fucking years to get good at, and you're not even giving it any respect. You know, and stand-up comedy is one of those art forms. I guess you have to kind of like disrespect before you can respect it, if you know what I'm saying. But I just, you know, everybody's doing it for different fucking reasons. You know, I like, you know, my intention is to make an audience laugh because they paid their hard-earned money to come in and see a fucking comedy show, and I don't jump up on a soapbox and jam my fucking ideologies down their fucking cake holes and you gotta fucking. I mean, I think that's so fucking counter for fucking productive. It's not art. It's not comedy. Zoom shows aren't fucking comedy. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Stand-up comedy is an intimate art form done in a fucking dark nightclub with some people sitting there having a couple of cocktails, and you're fucking making them fucking laugh. About, you know, that's the way. I don't know. That's for me. Anyway. Shoot. Oh, that's that.
That was a jam session, man. I was moving. Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's a good mentality, a purist, and that's how you've had the success that you've had. Me, I look at it like this. I always wanted to make people laugh. I just had a late start.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as a hobby. I look at it as that I don't have, like I told you, I don't have the ability to get out as much because of the family shit.
Yeah.
But I need to make it quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Quality stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm constantly writing, trying to come up with things. Last night was a good little, you know, a good little pat on the back, just going, hey, you know, you did okay. You know what I mean? Like I didn't walk away feeling like shit, but I did walk away going, what could I have done to make it better? And I got laughs.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you like every time you do it, you learn something.
Yeah.
You learn something. If I have a great set, I learn more from bad sets than I do from great sets, you know, but I love having great sets.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole different thing, man. I mean, I really can tell people, like, if you actually have a good set doing stand-up comedy, and I tell people who don't do stand-up, the feeling you get from that is like the first time I came from a woman. It really is. Like, it's unbelievable. You know, and I mean, think about the first time that you actually killed like that.
It's a little too much information, but yeah, I mean, I get the feeling. I know what you're saying. It's very euphoric.
It is.
Well, listen, man, thank you for having me on, brother. I gotta get my. I got 2 shows I gotta get ready for tonight down in Miami at the Villain Theater. So, it was great. Thanks for having me back on because we got all the technical difficulties worked out, and we will catch up. All right.
Well, thank you so much, Jimmy. I appreciate it, man. And God bless, man. Stay safe, bro.
All right, man. God bless you too, brother. Be well.
Thank you. Jimmy Shubert, everybody. quick exit, busy man. Catch him down in Florida. He's got some shows, and he's a great guy. There's his website, jimmyshubert.com. I'm going to get out of here. I lied to you guys before and said I'm going to get a Cuban sandwich, but I actually am going to go get a Cuban sandwich, and so we're going to end it. So thank you. Peace and love. See you next time.